Elite athletes often lead highly demanding and intense lives, both physically and mentally. To maintain their performance and well-being, they need to find ways to detach and relax. But over-attachment to an outcome is very prominent in our industry. When you're over-attached, your results are worse. They're not better. So sometimes the secret to getting what you want in life is the powerful lesson of detachment. So we are going to dive deep into this, help you as athletes find a way to enjoy life with a bunch of ideas of things that we do, professional athletes, but more importantly, what successful athletes do. But before we do that, like, subscribe, comment below. After you've watched this episode too, we want to know what are your go-to hobbies that helps you detach. So I wouldn't be doing this show without my amazing co-hosts. We have Camille, Linda, and Wendy. And guys, are you the tunnel vision athlete, or are you one that tries to balance it out so you don't get too hyper-focused?
I was definitely a tunnel vision.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about you two?
I've been both before, to be honest. And I think over the course of, I've been competing now for 15 years. And I realized that, just to your point, I actually did better when I saw the bigger picture, my bigger vision of what my purpose is, why am I doing this? Where am I going with this? And when I started to try to balance out with things that I really enjoy doing, even like making friendships and having more of like a social life, then I did start doing better, because being able to balance it out with things that you really love doing, it serves your soul.
Yeah,
For sure.
tunnel vision for me initially, and then over time just balance.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think with our diets and stuff, you have to find a way to distract yourself.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
for
yeah.
I mean,
sure.
you know what I mean? So I was always looking for things to do outside of being, cardio on the Stairmaster. And
Right.
Right. Well, and it also can lead to severe burnout too. If that's all you're ever focused on, and if it's hard and you're in the grind and the diet's rough, those last couple weeks, if there's not an element of happiness, it's going to take you down.
Yeah.
So I want to share with you guys this video that I think really helps kind of explain all of this that we're talking about.
Okay.
Haven't you had something that you really wanted to go a specific way? You were obsessed with like a certain outcome, and no matter how hard you worked, you couldn't seem to get it. And then someone else comes by, and it seems like they don't work as hard as you. They put in 10 times less the effort, but they get further ahead, and you're looking at them like, this person, it doesn't even seem like they care. How did they do the thing I was obsessing about for like weeks on end? One massive paradox in all of self-improvement is when you really, really want something and you obsess over it, your results are worse, not better. Today, my friends, we are talking about the life-changing power of detachment. We're gonna unpack what it is, why it's important. We'll also look at 3 areas, 3 examples. We're gonna look at detaching in relationships, detaching in business, material success, numbers, metrics, and detachment in happiness, and how it can really benefit you if you lean into this new energy that we're talking about here together. So I found that one of the best analogies for this is one I came up with. Let's just say you have your phone, okay? So you're tossing it up like this. And look, you can do this in your sleep, no problem. Now, what if you have this phone and you take it to a mall and you hold it over a 6-story balcony ledge and you try as hard as you can to just, your heart skips a beat. Your palms get sweaty. You might actually mess it up because it's so much pressure there and drop the thing. The chatter in your mind switches from, I'm bored, let me just do this for fun, to, oh my God, I can't drop this thing because if I do, all my contacts are in here, all my logins, it's $1,000 that I'm gonna be out to replace it, and I can't live without a phone. Even though it's the same exact act as this, when you're over the ledge, the importance of not dropping your phone in that scenario causes you to get nervous, to mess it up, and to lose all the ability that you had all along, which is just this, the exact same act. People often wonder why they get in their own head, why they care so much what people think, why they can't seem to get a good relationship or attract someone. It's because you're placing what you want over the 6-story balcony, and you're trying to operate like this. Like, okay, I'm gonna launch my YouTube channel. I can't mess it up. Okay, I'm going on that date. I hope they like me because they have to be the one. Otherwise, I'm gonna be single alone forever. Okay, I really need this job. Otherwise, I'm gonna be broke and have to take out 3 different loans to pay my bills. I'm not making light of any of those situations. What I'm saying is that when it's so important, it becomes a negative, self-sabotaging feedback loop. What detaching and letting
Yeah, so I mean,
I love that analogy.
And it's so true, right? Like, especially when
You get on
it gets
stage.
to the Olympia stage or going for that pro card, and you've worked so hard and you need that outcome.
Yeah.
And then we see so many of these athletes and they've got all the talent in the world, and then they get on stage and you're like, I've never seen them like just
Shut
fall
down.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to your posing was perfect. It's all
Yeah.
this pressure because they haven't found a good balance. One question I have is for you guys being in the industry.
Yeah.
I know I've personally seen several athletes who they have tunnel vision, and it's all their entire life, their entire worth and value is based upon Olympia.
Yeah.
And it's almost devastating if they don't get that because they have such tunnel vision. They haven't found ways to detach. They haven't found healthy
Yeah.
ways to find value outside of the sport.
Yeah.
Have you guys experienced
Yeah.
that with athletes?
For me,
Sure.
I have to make sure to protect like self. So
Yeah.
like when we go to a bodybuilding show, I'm all in and it's fun. But then when I leave, I don't want to live in that space.
Yeah.
Even when I would prepare for the Olympia, going like a lot of the athletes that go to the like Gold's Gym in Venice,
Yeah.
the Mecca. Like to me, that was too much.
Yeah.
And it was like I really honestly feel like I won as much as I did because I was not. I took myself out of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
go in, and I think
Yeah.
also like with social media
Yeah.
and athletes too being
Yeah.
consumed with that, you gotta
Yes.
like
Yeah.
stick and move. You gotta get in, do your post, look at what's going on,
Yeah.
and then get out and just
Right.
like
Yes.
remove yourself from it somehow.
Yeah.
Completely. I think it is
It's
so
a-
challenging today.
Yeah, it's interesting because you on one hand, you don't want to be part of this like echo chamber of obsession.
Right.
And there is definitely that. But to some degree, it's hard not to see the people that are at the top succeeding and to think, gosh, it seems like they're in this obsessive echo chamber and that's what it looks like, what it takes. It's very unique, and I think it's very, special to see people. Like, I mean, honestly, Whitney, currently, right now, I mean, you're both able to have that obsessive hyper focus, but also have the the balancing act that you have, and it's really fascinating to me. It's intriguing and it's fascinating, and it is really difficult for people to have that balancing act. So it is interesting, right? Because I also think it can slip underneath slip underneath you, because there have been times when I found myself trying to balance things out, and then I lose my grasp on maybe having as much focus as I should have had. So I've had that happen to me too, where I'm trying to trying not to lose sight of my bigger vision, but then maybe I realize maybe I should have grabbed onto that goal a little harder and been a little bit more obsessive about it in order to get what I wanted.
Well, but he was talking about in the video that it applies to so many different things. But
Yeah.
one thing that I think a lot of athletes do, especially if there's a show that's, Olympia or Arnold's, or
Yeah.
even if it's your first show,
Right.
the athletes will, and I used to do this to myself. I felt like I would self-sabotage.
Right.
I would be so prepared, but then I would be getting ready for stage, and I would be, don't mess, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't do this, do this. To
Right.
the point where you're just like, you're almost self-creating that scenario that you're telling yourself not to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you're talking about it.
Well, you process the positives and the negatives, right? Like whenever I have athletes who they have a hard time, following their diet, I say, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to say, don't have a donut 5 times in a row. Don't have a donut, don't have a donut, don't have a donut, don't have a donut, don't have a donut. I said, what are you thinking about? having a donut,
That's
right?
right. That's
so the
right.
thing is that your brain
Don't
is
say it.
processing the negatives. So it's kind of like whatever your mind is focusing on is wherever the rest of your soul is going to go, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good chance you'll have the donut.
Probably.
Well,
Because
and
you're
like,
obsessed about it.
and he was talking about dating. I'm sure you all have people who are trying to find a partner, and they're just fixated on trying to find a girlfriend or boyfriend and looking so hard. And it's like, as soon as you stop looking, it will happen.
Yeah.
Also, same with getting pregnant. If you try
Yeah.
too hard,
Totally,
it's going to
yeah,
take
it's
forever.
not
You just
gonna
got to
work,
relax,
yeah.
and it's going to happen.
Well, and job interview or first date, you're trying too hard. So you're getting away from who you are naturally.
Right.
And you're being a little bit of someone you're not. Well, just like you said, we've practiced our posing. We've done everything to prepare for a show.
Yeah.
So when we get up there and we overpose, now we don't look our best.
Yeah.
We're trying too hard. So there's so much value in that, but it's like, so how do you do it? Why is it bad? Well, it's bad. There's burnout. There's reduced mental flexibility, lack of
Right.
identity beyond the sport. We see that a lot.
Right.
There's social isolation where maybe you aren't trying to date, or you aren't appreciating your friendships. Maybe you're neglecting kids when they really need you. I mean, there's so many things that go about it. And granted, our sport, to be at the top, you have to be focused.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
gets there
Yeah.
without being focused. But like for me, you brought that up.
Yeah.
I've got so many different things in my life, but when I'm training and when I'm doing routine practice,
I know.
I am focused, but I know that I have a very limited time that I can focus, and then the rest of the time is focused on my business,
Yeah.
my kids, or whatever it is that's in my life, the show, So
And-
there's a way to do it.
And
Yeah.
and allowing yourself to still have a social life, to do things outside of just completely staying focused, it does not mean that you're derailing from your goal.
Right.
And you can do both. It doesn't mean that you're not focused any longer on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really helpful to know the importance that focus is great,
Yeah.
but you have to also step outside of that. And I think it's really important because, again, if you have family and friends, husband, there's nothing sadder than when an athlete, after the show, and even if they win, but let's say they don't win, like that next day, you were so focused, laser focused, and everything, your world revolved
Yeah.
around there. It's depressing to wake up the next morning and you don't have to do the cardio.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat the egg whites and chicken breasts anymore because the show's over.
Yeah.
So now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've got to find that good balance. And you want to keep your family and friends supporting you because you haven't alienated them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot we're going to dive into still, and some more questions for you guys. So we're going to take a quick break and we will be back. And we are back talking about the importance of detaching and not having specific tunnel vision entirely in your life, where this sport is the only thing you are focused on. So you guys are athletes yourself. We've kind of shared that you have had some experience being on both sides.
Yeah.
What about other athletes in our sports outside of yourselves? Have you seen, or where do you see that this kind of fits in and could be an extreme?
I have seen, and maybe you guys have noticed this also, but different territories like Europe, athletes that would compete in European countries or South America, there might be more pressure on them because that is their career.
Right.
So I have noticed that, the off season, on season is just, they are so laser focused. And I think it's just the difference with, I really don't know, but that's just what I've noticed
you're
over
right.
time.
A lot of my international clients, you're right, and I don't know. Maybe it's pressure that they feel representing their country. There's so many athletes in the U.S. There's so many pros, but gosh, around the world, there's some areas that they are like one or two pros in their entire region. So maybe it's this pressure that they feel like they continually need to represent their country at the Olympia or be at the top. I mean, that would be rough.
Yes.
I can say that that's some definitely truth to it as far as the difference, as far as focus compared to athletes in the U.S. and Islanders, or let's say Europe. Because when I think of, like, for example, the Masters Olympia, and I know that we have some of our top Olympia champions going over, like Jessica Reyes, and when I think about the athletes there, they're like always in shape. Like hardcore, like we're eating cardboard and you know, and I'm like, they're fierce.
Yes,
They're fierce. I don't know, you know. So it seems like they are like just really super. Like that's their world.
Right. It's interesting because you think about, you know, somebody who like genuinely wants to be successful, somebody who's like, okay, I want to make sure that I set myself up to win. I want to do everything I possibly can to win, you know, or whatever. Maybe that's like a focus. But then they're like, well, I want to make sure that I have balance in my life. I want to do it with, you know, make sure I don't lose sight of all the things that are important to me. But then they find themselves, you know, competing against or at odds with people who it is their whole life. It is like an obsession. So where do you stack up against people who, I mean, it's hard to compete with that, you know? So it is an interesting, it's an interesting thing because you can give somebody advice about like have balance and have, you know, balance everything out and make sure you don't lose sight of things or whatever. But then how do they get ahead too? Finding the ability to do that, that's the tricky thing, you know. And I think it takes time and experience. That's for me anyway, because like I, you know, like Camille and like Linda, I was hyper focused at first, and then it took me time to find out how to balance it out. It wasn't something I figured out right off the bat, you know.
And that's really hard to learn. Like that's especially with social media. Like I would find myself just like I had so much time that I would have, you know, downtime. I didn't really have many hobbies when I was like early on competing, so I was just so focused. But it's almost, I was having this weird analogy, and competitors almost can relate a little bit to those who decide to go into ministry or nuns. Hear me out. Hear me out. Because they sacrifice and they give up their lives to fulfill this purpose. And bodybuilders are really no different. They this is their life. They live and breathe it, and that is their purpose.
That's so deep. And it is hard because when we get to that place where you're like really like dieted down and 5% body fat, and how do you pull that person out of that? I mean, to the point like athletes would come up and they just pull their pants down so they show me their legs. I'm like, you're like, wow, we're in the elevator. This has just happened.
Bodybuilders do that.
Show. And
look at my legs.
And then the random normal person's like,
it's in the elevator, and I was like, dude, like
it's normal. It's normal to us, but anyone else around is like, what is going on here?
You guys' industry is
but
so
it does.
weird.
It puts you in that place, though. I can remember that, and it is. I think knowing that we go there and knowing the importance of balance. Just knowing that so that you can incorporate and plan in your life time with your husband, your children, and take time, and don't keep talking about, I can't go out, I get a suntan, a burn, and you know.
Find a way.
Well, if you think of it as a prescription to your success. So if you think, if you go, okay, if I allot time to do this activity, that activity, and that activity, and I spend time with, my friends in this way, and this is like a part of my recipe for success, and you program your mind that that's actually a part of the success, that might be a good way for somebody who's like more of like a type A focused person to be able to,
The hard part, I mean, you can do it, but the hard part is mentally detaching. Yes. You can be doing things with family. You can be whatever.
That's a good point.
But how do you? But meanwhile, you're still just kind of like fixated on like, oh my God, how this morning? Do you think like I actually did make that progress, or did I do? Like you're thinking so much in your so in your head.
So that's a great point, because obviously in kind of prepping for this episode, I looked at what are ways to detach. So there's mentally detaching, physically, and then of course doing stuff like hobbies. So let's give you guys some ideas on how do you detach. So mentally, you're right. You've got to be able to fully leave this area and go into a new one. How do you do that? Rest, recovery. I mean, some of these things to mentally detach, they don't require a lot. But meditation, a lot of people do meditation, that mindfulness, where meditation could be a gazillion different things for people.
Yes.
Totally.
Visualization, mental imagery. It's not focused on, like we talk about visualization on the stage and stuff, but these are things that are outside of the sport. So really detaching means nothing to do with bodybuilding. What about physically? So how do you physically detach? Some of the most popular ways: socializing, spending time with loved ones, nature, outdoors, breathing fresh air, travel, exploration, massage, bodywork, yoga, stretching.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I think when you're this is maybe just some advice to athletes who, if you are going out and socializing and you're with family, don't constantly talk about you and your show.
Yes.
And because they don't they know about it. They're happy for you, but it doesn't need just because that's all you're thinking about. Try to not constantly talk about your show and your diet and your physique, because they don't want to hear it, and that's when you start to tarnish relationships.
Well, and again, you want that support. So when you're so focused on it, that doesn't mean everyone else is. So if you're taking a chance to detach, then detach. And put your efforts into realizing what these other family friends have been doing that you've been ignoring, maybe. You know? Because you do. You have to have that aspect. And then last is hobbies. Hopefully everyone has hobbies. We have a fun activity that's going to be coming up that you guys are part of, but hobbies: cooking, baking, photography, music, gaming, painting. I mean, you guys understand hobbies. But what's interesting is, what are some of the hobbies of superstar athletes? Some could be unusual. So let's run this clip, and some of these might surprise you. It was kind of fun. Roller skating, ballet.
Wow. Herschel Walker ballet.
Bingo.
Pigeon racing.
Oh, yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. Spear fishing.
Racing.
Yeah, I mean, again, right? So it's like how they are very, I mean, everything's pressure, right? What'd you say?
Pigeon racing.
I know. Is that even a thing?
Oh my gosh.
Banana slug races are fun too.
Banana slug?
What is that?
You get banana. I'm from the redwoods, so that with banana slugs. But you
What
put
is
banana
that?
slugs there, and
Animal?
it's like a big slug.
that
yellow.
bug. That
And you're
bug.
just like, it's like you're at the race track, the horse race track. Come
A
on.
slug, like a snail?
Well, it's a long yellow slug. It's gross, but they're all over the
and
redwoods.
they race.
They're slow, but it's it was a joke.
Wow.
But
I want to.
She's really wanting to try this banana slug
It
racing.
takes like a week for them to get an inch or something.
We're going to find some.
Now we know Camille's hobby. And then Nico, let's run this one that is famous soccer players. Soccer being from the international.
Oh my gosh. That's cool.
Yeah, with guys, of course, video games.
Yeah,
You probably
video
would never
games.
see that with women, right? But it's like, what is it that allows them to relax?
Swimming
Yeah.
is a relaxing thing.
Well, and the thing is, but the video games, a lot of them actually play video games on their own sport, like F40, Formula One.
Totally.
A lot of them are really into video gaming, but they're also racing cars and playing their own games.
That's funny. Playing guitar.
Yeah, you
There you
guys,
go.
you gotta have your hobbies. Right?
These little like emojis are funny.
I know.
I know.
Listening to you, what is that? Looks like an astronaut.
Are these all soccer players?
Yeah, but you know, soccer is.
Yeah.
Or it says like the football, but soccer players internationally. Yeah. Traveling. I like that. Cycling. So yeah, Nika, we can stop that. But again, everyone has to have a way to detach, and
Yeah.
especially in high-pressured situations.
Oh, yeah.
It's important.
Collecting
and-
Elvis.
What's that?
David Beckham
Collecting Elvis.
Oh, wow. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Collecting
expensive
Elvis.
hobby.
Wow. Do we need to tell him that he has passed? He's not going to ever collect him personally.
He's trying to collect Elvis himself.
All the
He
memorabilia.
probably has a very expensible collection.
Oh, he's probably got all
That's
the
why
good
it
stuff.
stopped on David
Yeah.
Beckham, and it's like
He gets a
collecting Elvis memorabilia.
That's awesome.
Hey. All right, we're going to
Google
take a
look for it.
quick break and come back, and then we are going to talk about hobbies from this fabulous host staff right now. So we'll be right back in just a second. And we are back. So for this last segment, we are going to get to know all of the hosts. And I asked them for a list of what their favorite hobbies are. How do they detach? So obviously, we'll start with Wendy. Now, I know the answer, so I can't answer anything. But Linda and Camille, you don't know. So we're going to put up an image. Wendy gave me her answer. Two are not correct. So of these, what do you think are the false hobbies? So we've got skincare, writing, makeup artistry, card games, sketching, marketing, movie theaters, and watching YouTube videos.
I'm gonna say card games.
Yeah, same here. Card games, no.
Card game, all right. And what's the
my
second
gosh.
one?
Second one would be
not.
sketching.
No, I
Sketching?
can see her sketching. I know she loves skincare. I could see her writing. Makeup artist that. I know she liked marketing. Movie theaters. No, I
So
think
you
the
said sketching?
She said sketching.
I think
she's-
sketching
I
and
think she's
card
on.
games.
Yeah, sketching. Let's say
So
sketching.
sketching
I'm
is
gonna
a
stick
lie?
with sketching.
All right, so Wendy, why don't you share with us what your favorite hobbies are and why do you love them?
Okay, this is fun. This is really fun. Obviously, skincare. You guys know I'm obsessed with skincare. Writing, I wouldn't consider myself writing to be a hobby per se, but seeing that on the screen.
Well, was it or not?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. That was a fake that I sent you, but
She wants to be a
I write,
writer.
but I'm not like a writer. Okay.
So writing was the
Not really.
false one.
Writing is false.
Okay.
Makeup artistry, obviously.
Yeah.
Card games, no, I don't play card games.
Yeah, we got that right.
Although I could play
Know your
blackjack.
audience.
Yes.
Sketching, I do sketch a little bit. Marketing, obviously, I love marketing. I love going to really nice movie theaters. You know, the kind with like the lounge chairs
yeah.
And the tiered.
Yes. And then I watch YouTube videos. Yeah.
Yeah, at that-
So card games and writing were not ones that I sent you.
Okay. So at
right.
least you guys got one right.
We got one
You
right.
got one right. Okay.
One for
so
two.
Now Linda. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So Linda's hobbies: watching TikToks, giving cats a bath, gardening, puzzles, reading, brain teasers, window shopping at expensive stores. So think about it.
Okay. I think
Which one would go?
I think that she's not into gardening. I can't see her being into gardening.
Okay.
And I don't see her being into puzzles, but I can see her giving cats a bath. I can totally see that. And definitely watching TikToks, definitely giving cats a bath. Reading, yes. Brain teasers, I can see her doing that. And window shopping at expensive stores, yes, definitely. That is
Okay, so
Linda.
your two are
Gardening and puzzles.
okay. What about you? What are you thinking?
Okay. The fact that you love to give cats a bath, I think that is a true one. I think you would. This is a hard one. I think you would love this, but I've been to Arizona in the summertime, and I don't know who would garden. So I'm gonna say gardening is it was not one of your hobbies, and I'm gonna go for window shopping at expensive stores because I think you're shopping at the expensive stores.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay, Linda, so spill it.
You guys are right. Gardening, no. And the other no is brain teasers. I said I do shop. I love shopping.
I know you love shopping.
Yes, you know that, and you pointed
Yes.
out. Yeah, I have not yet quite going into Gucci or Louis Vuitton, and I'll buy some stuff, but nah, I'm not going in and spending that much money.
Yeah.
But you guys, yeah, gardening for sure. It's too hot here.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
That was the first one I was like, no.
But if you lived in a cooler climate, I could see you loving gardening.
yes, yes,
I can see that.
And I love puzzles.
Yeah.
I always have puzzles.
Really?
I do puzzles on the God.
And you
I
don't
so
like brain
love
teasers.
puzzles.
I'm learning something new.
Which is, I think I would love brain teasers.
Like Sudoku?
I could see me getting
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I just really started getting into puzzles the last 3 years, and then they're addicting.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
They're
can be.
addicting. It's weird. I thought it was weird.
the puzzle pieces.
2,000
Oh,
piece
yeah.
puzzle,
Those
like
are
putting
fun.
it together.
See, I learned something new about you.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
When you guys come to my house, you'll always see oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
Puzzles.
You have a
And there's
puzzle always
beautiful
going on.
puzzles, too.
Oh, yeah.
Always working on a puzzle.
Always working on a puzzle.
That's kind of cool.
That's great. Well, see,
fun.
we're doing pretty good here, I
Yeah,
think.
you are.
And your green screen shot is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Good choice, Nico. Or Maffer, whoever chose that one. Thank you. Good lighting.
All right, now Camille, you're up next. What do we got? Camille.
love that
Okay.
one.
So we have investing, reading, riding e-bikes, meditation, graphic design, concerts, gardening, and yard work. So, girls, on the other side of the couch, how well do you know this co-host of yours?
Let's see. Shall I start or did you want to start?
I know she loves investing. I believe reading. I don't think meditation is meditation, and I know she can do graphics and concerts. I'm going to say meditation and concerts. I can visualize her in her new home, gardening and yard work.
Okay, Wendy, what you got?
Let's see. She's definitely into investing. I know her too well. Riding e-bikes, yes. Let's see, concerts, I'm going to say yes. I don't know about gardening and yard work. Maybe not gardening and yard work or meditation.
Okay,
Okay.
so how accurate are they?
Well, Linda, you were spot on. And I love investing. I've gotten really into reading. Colleen Hoover is my big addiction. You guys don't already read Colleen
Yeah.
Hoover.
Shout out.
Riding e-bikes. I love riding e-bikes. I do not meditate.
I got that right.
I enjoy graphic design because I have to do it, but I do find some fun with creativity. I do love concerts, but that was not one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
And then gardening and yard work is another hobby.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I learned something new about both of you guys.
See, this is exploring, right? Because we see each other in all of our professional environments.
Are we going to do you now?
Yeah, so I feel like you guys are.
Yeah, no, let Camille do this.
All right, and then that crazy girl, Whitney, what's she all about? So let's see what we have up now.
Yay, we're doing you too.
So playing guitar, cooking,
Barbie.
puzzles, skateboarding, accent challenges, cars, and creating reels and doing stupid human tricks.
Well, that's
What are accent challenges? Oh, talking with
it's
an
so
accent.
specific
Yeah.
that I'm gonna.
Okay. I know what they are. I know what hers are definitely not. Can I go first?
You do
Go for
already?
it.
Yes.
Wow.
You do not like cooking, and you are not a skateboarder.
Okay.
I'm gonna say she does not like cooking, and even though she has a badass car, I not saying I'm going to take cars off because I know.
Well, her car is so specific. It's such a specific Barbie car. I wouldn't say it makes you think that this girl's into cars.
Right.
It's like this girl has a car that is so her.
Yeah.
But not like this is someone into cars.
Puzzles? I don't know about puzzles. I think you're active. Skateboarding, playing the guitar. You don't like cooking. I don't think you talked about cooking.
She does not cook.
No.
No, she does not cook.
So you said cooking and which one?
Cooking
And puzzles. Okay.
and puzzles.
Okay. And what about you, Wendy?
They pretty much did all the work for me, but I know you play the guitar. I know you do not cook, so that's one of them. Puzzles is an iffy one. Skateboarding, I can see you being a skateboarder. Accent challenges, definitely do accent challenges. I've seen you do those before. And cars. So I'm going to say cooking and cars.
Okay. So yeah, Wendy nailed it.
Really?
I definitely don't cook. I think it's hilarious that you guys are like, oh, definitely not cooking. I mean, I
We
would.
know you don't cook.
You tell us every day.
Yeah.
that
I don't know
Like, I'm not a
anything.
cook, guys.
You will
I'm not
kill
a
your
cook.
family if you cook for them.
Yes, I don't. Thank goodness. But yeah, all the others playing guitar, puzzles. So I have a puzzle table.
Do you?
Always a puzzle. If you guys are into puzzles, White Mountain puzzles are the best.
Yes,
You have those?
I do.
Oh, they're the best. They are
They're great.
amazing. So
Okay.
we need to trade puzzles.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I have lots.
We need to do this
Oh, that's
exchange
awesome.
because I've almost gone through all of them.
Yeah.
Puzzle changes are a thing. You got to exchange them.
And they
Yeah.
keep us sharp mentally.
They really
Yes,
do.
Totally. So yeah,
And it
love
slows you
all
down.
those other
takes
things.
You guys are
into
making me wanna start
meditation.
doing
It is
puzzles.
quite
It's
interesting.
actually
You will be
fun.
surprised.
Especially
You
if
will
you
be
want to watch a
surprised.
show, you kind of listen to an audiobook and you do puzzles. It's a
You'd be
great way to
surprised.
separate.
I want to do it.
So, and then we're going to wrap up this episode with something a little different. We had a great idea from Nico, who is always behind the scenes, and we tried to get him on camera. But we are going to do a little ditty for Femme Flex Friday.
A little
Friday. You girls ready?
Ready.
We're going to do a little ditty.
Thank you, Moffer.
Look at this multi-talented.
One of her hobbies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a really kind of a spoof song. Just
No judgment, guys.
yeah,
no
none,
judgment.
none,
judgment.
please.
We
at
wrote
all.
this for you.
Yeah.
Written by Schmidt Spencer Garrett.
All right, you guys, we're ready to lose followers, as Tarek says.
You guys can make fun of us as much as you want.
And you guys got a beat. Let's hear it. Boom. Come on. You got. Oh, we got beatboxing and we've got stomping. All right, here we go. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for Femme Flex with Camilla Wendy. Of course, there's Linda, and I'm Whitney Jones. It's Friday, so enjoy this motherfucking show. That wraps another episode of Femme Flex Friday. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.